Morning. It is 7:05 a.m. on Wednesday, April 17th, 2019. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. Something about my current schedule for the last week or so since I've adjusted to the time change here in South Korea, something has got me in a mode where the dreams that like the time that my alarm goes off catches me right when I'm sort of in my dreaming state. And so I have been waking up while dreaming quite a bit more in the last week than is typical for me. Good morning, folks joining. The reason for the title of the video today is that the dream that I woke up to this morning featured me realizing, I say finger quotes here, which I'll explain in a moment, realizing that the character of Buffy Summers from Buffy the Vampire Slayer would be 40 now, and me thinking about what that means, like what that would mean for the character. And in the context of the dream, it wasn't like she was a real person that was 40 and like what was really happening like that. The dream was really actually me just thinking about the question. And I will explain the finger quotes now only in the sense that when I got up, I looked it up, and actually the character in canon of the TV show, the character was born in 1981. So she would actually not yet be 40, almost. But Sarah Michelle Gellar, the actress, was actually 4 years older than that. So she would be past 40 now. She was born in 1977. So splitting the difference, I think it's a fine thing. Not that I necessarily have anything really dramatic to pronounce about that, except that it's pretty close to my age. So in the context of the dream, my thought process was that the character Buffy Summers at 40, like what would she be up to? And there was a couple of moving pieces there. I mean, obviously I know that the comic book series has explored some of the time, season 8, like what would have happened past the end of the TV show, but it's not really covering the amount of time that has actually passed, right? So it's not really addressing that. But I was thinking, like, especially if we assume that all of the other Slayers that were created in the finale of the show are still kind of around, like that's still going on, then Buffy, while she would still certainly need to, get physical for certain threats from time to time, probably would have handed off some of that to the younger Slayers. And so the idea that I had in my dream was actually that she should run for city council. Which I was kind of delighted with that thought in the, she'd still be in school, yeah. I was kind of delighted with that thought in the dream, because on the one hand, at what point do you think, with the presence of multiple Slayers and that sort of thing, at what point does it actually become public knowledge? Or do we think that this idea that was established in the show, that sort of people sort of willfully ignore evidence of anything supernatural, would that stay true? Or do you think that in this era of the 24-hour news cycle and the internet and everything, would it have become public knowledge at this point? I don't know. I think that that's an interesting question. And so regardless of whether city council is high enough sights to set, the idea that Buffy would have at some point wanted to go into a more sort of policy leadership sort of role. And I don't know, that ties into my own feelings about the end of the show, where I felt like I didn't like how people weren't, listening to her. I don't know, that starts getting into a whole thing. I didn't even really necessarily mean to have this whole video today just be about Buffy, so much as that's kind of where my head's at. Is I don't even know why in my brain that that show kind of came up, but thinking about pop culture things. Yesterday, I was talking a little bit about going back to video games that are, like comfort food, so to speak. I don't know. I think, who can say all, I don't know that there's always going to be a logical explanation for what your dreams are about, but that's what I woke up to today. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it there, I think, for today. Thank you for watching, and thank you for commenting, and I will talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.